In the previous lesson, we've got our roast beef and squash going
This is real cooking. This is a family meal.
and started our potatoes. In this lesson, we'll make my two favourite condiments, horseradish and mustard.
The temperature's gone up since it's out the oven. That is so profoundly important in the understanding of roasting of meat.
And continue with our potatoes and start our gravy.
It smells like French onion soup. Deep flavours, deep colour. Oh my Lord.